Good evening to all of you. This class is now going to be recorded. In the previous session, already we have discussed more about the HRM practices, what is it or M, and how it will be, what are the various aspects that are to be covered. And now, in the today's class, we go to the block wise, and then you will have a better understanding about this one. Let me, before going to the screen share. So, any doubts regarding yesterday's class, or shall we proceed in the same way? At least one opinion. First explanation of the class, then important aspects, then finally to revise the entire lesson what we have studied. In this process, let us go further. Is it okay for you? Yes, Amma? One of you respond?
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Then only 3 participants joined. So let us give 1 2 minimum important points and then we proceed for that. Before that, let us share the screen. Then let me open the syllabus. Actually, what I am planning in this just so yes, right. Are you able to see the share now? That is syllabus
yes,
copy.
sir.
So yesterday I have already gone through the entire syllabus of your subject. And then what I felt is that instead of going by unit wise, let me go by concept wise, which is most useful for you to write the examinations and so on. And instead of going by topic, let us go with the syllabus in the units. So what are the most relevant and most easiest topics to be understood by a student? And then on the basis of that, how to write the answers well and how to go with that. So total now we are having 5 blocks. Each block is consisting about each block is consisting of 2 3 4 lessons also sometimes. It is a very vast syllabus, but anyhow, we'll try to cover up the major important areas in this. Okay. In the previous class, actually, we are able to go with the unit one, and in the block two, we have analyzed what is the organizational design and so on. Now we discuss about organizational policies and framing the organizational policy and how it will be and need for the sound human resources organization. Amma, are you having the syllabus copy with you?
Yes,
Are you,
sir.
ha- are you having the syllabus copy with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that you can go through that also, no problem. Then directly let us go to what is strategic HRM and all. Then blockwise we will go further and also. So before entering into this class now, let me stop this share process. Right. So you now just I will go through the yesterday's class once, and those who are absent yesterday class, just to go through it, and then we will proceed further on that. Okay.
Okay,
These are the meaning and objectives of HRM. Go through it. Just to revise. Objectives of HRM: guiding organization, providing good manpower, development of manpower skills. Then lastly, recruiting of right men for the right job, framing HR policies through mutual consultation. These points must be a part of your answer. Then it will be a good answer for you, right? Then clearly specify the authority and responsibility relationships, that is designing of a system, harmonize relations among the members. Then what are the features of HRM that also we discussed? Then comprehensive managerial function, people oriented, task orientation, development needed and development oriented, future goal oriented, and globalized structure, continuous function, challenging nature and all. Then we go by the nature and scope of HRM aspect. And in this also, nature and scope of HRM aspect. In this, what is the main areas of HRM and how it will be and so on. So after this one, welfare aspect is the most important area, industrial relations aspect. These aspects yesterday already we covered. Then coming to the next functions and activities of HRM, that is managerial functions, that is planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Then the after this we have given the operating functions of HRM. That is what are the various what are the various functions related to a particular organization in the operational activity, that is department wise or or a particular division wise, or else sometimes activity wise also. That is first acquisition, development, integration, maintenance, compensation. These are the various aspects. And out of that also, what are the various important subcomponents we have discussed in the previous class? Okay. So these are the important questions what you also have to understand. Let me take a screenshot, then we'll. Chapter 1. This is 9th June. Right. So after this one, actually, we are going to start with the unit 2, that is organizational design, organizational structure. And this aspect yesterday, before that, I have covered about in the block 2, we started about organizational design and process. This again, we will go through while coming to the block 2. Okay. Let us go back to this one important element, which is missing. So organizational design, structure, personal policies, and what is the need for the personal policies. So as I told you in the today's class also, make a pen and paper with you, and I will dictate the questions of this particular unit 2, and then on the basis of that we will proceed further. So in this class, from this class onwards, each unit will have a specific title question, and mainly concentrate on that. Along with that, you follow the other questions also. Okay. What is HR policy? What is HR policy? Explain the what is HR policy? Explain the need for the sound HR policy. Explain the need for the sound HR policy. Second question. Explain the procedure for framing an effective HR policy. What is the procedure for framing effective HR policy? Right. So on these topics, we will now proceed with that further. So next, are you able to write?
Yes, sir.
Right, Amma. Then, so what is HR policy? Actually, HR policy is a guide for managing the people. So how the HR policy, actually what is meaning a policy statement? Policy is a statement which it tells us about what are the various important aspects that are to be taken care of, or what are the various important elements that are to be structured in the organizational aspect, and so on. So a policy is a guide for managing the people. As I told you, HR is basically dealing with people. So the policies and basically, so how to deal with the people, how to react with the people, how to make them work together for the organizational benefit. If person is working on his own, or each person is going in his own direction, then we cannot achieve the organizational goals. So, for the purpose of achieving the overall organizational goal, what is the most important element is to coordinate, cooperate, and finally to consolidate what are the various factors in this process of that. The policy is a planned action. Guiding factor for the procedure is a plan, then guide towards achieving the strategic activities and goals of the organization. So, when a plan is made, whether it is a financial planning, whether it is a HR planning, or a marketing plan, whatever the field it may be, the guide policy is for the purpose of achieving a specific objective. మన పాలసీ ఏంటి అంటాం, మన పాలసీ అంటే ఏంటి, మనకున్నటువంటి గోల్ని మనం అచీవ్ చేసుకోవడానికి మనకి ఏ రకంగా అయితే స్టెప్స్ ఫాలో అవుతున్నాం, అంటే మనం ఏ రకంగా స్టెప్స్ ఫాలో అయినట్లయితే మన యొక్క గోల్ మనం రీచ్ అవ్వగలుగుతాం అనేటువంటిది ఇక్కడ మెయిన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్. మరి హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీలో స్పెసిఫిక్ గోల్స్ ఉంటాయా? ఎస్. హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీస్ మెయిన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఈస్ బేసికలీ టు అచీవ్ ది ఆర్గనైజేషనల్ రిజల్ట్. సో ఇట్ యాక్ట్స్ యాజ్ మేనేజింగ్ ది పీపుల్. It outlines basically the organizational philosophy. What is organizational philosophy? That is values, norms, ethics, and all. With respect to the way which the employees are to be treated, how the employees are to be treated in a particular organization. So, normal in the olden days, there is no such policies in this organization. So, we will assign the work to them. They have to do the work. That's all. There is no specific policy to them. But at the moment of time, when the people are treated just like a machine, their motivational factors came down, and they are not able to work to the best efficiency. In this process, HR policies basically provides a way for the treatment of the employee. How the employees are to be treated. Then it is a driving philosophy, or it is a driving principle, are a set of principles where the managers follow with respect to the employees. So actually, in simple language, instead of using all this technical jargon, let us deal with that. So if you are a manager for the organization, when you are working in the managerial position, if you are not able to deal with the people proper way, people means your subordinates. Assistants, then what they will do? They will reluctantly do the work, and they will try to escape the work at any cost. And finally, you will be in the problem. When the workers and the people are not able to perform the task in a proper way, finally, the work will get affected and the blame will come to the manager. So in this process, how the manager has to deal with the employees, how the employees to be treated first. That is the main important area. So we can't say that every employee has to work for the benefit of the work for the benefit because we are providing salary. Some of them are highly motivated, some of them are non-motivated, some of them may not be able to cope up with the element of work what they are doing. So this is HR policy is basically gives us a roadmap for the achieving the organizational success. That is point number one. HR policy acts as a guide for managing the people. Then second one, it provides a philosophy or outline for the entire organization. What are the value systems to be followed? What are ethical norms are to be followed? And what are the various important elements which there should be in the organization? Say, for example, quality consciousness. That is one ethic. We will provide high quality goods to the customers. That is one ethical value, one principle, one value. So we will provide the customers at the lowest possible price. That is another philosophy. So high quality goods, quality maintenance, no compromise strategy. So like that, different philosophies will be there for each and every organization. So how the next one, this is organizational level. This is next point is that how the employees are to be treated. Employees, if you treat the employees in a humanitarian manner, then they will definitely provide good services to the organization. These are about the HR policies. So you can go with the broad side heading, HR policy, and you can explain these concepts. Then what is the need for HR policy? So what is important factors to be identified and what is the important element to be identified? Then identify the discriminations, if any. What are discriminations here? When the employees are treated, when the two different employees are treated in two different ways, definitely there will be a quarrel. There will be a conflict. So one manager is showing some sort of favoritism to the another. Like that, the issues will arise. And finally, the blame will come to the manager. So in this process, identify if any discriminations are there. And eliminate favoritism, and deal all employees with the same level. All employees are to be taken care of in the same manner. That is one important need for the HR policy. If HR policy is there, even the manager also cannot deviate that one. So when the manager also cannot deviate, all will be equal. మన చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకుందాం. మన ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో ఉంది ఒక ఎంప్లాయీకి మనం ఒక 1 hour పర్మిషన్ ఇచ్చాం. తర్వాత వాడికి ఏదో మనం ఫేవర్ చేస్తున్నామని మిగిలిన వాళ్ళు అనుకుంటారు. ఎప్పుడైతే మనం వాళ్ళకి ఫేవర్ చేస్తున్నామో, ఈజ్ ఇట్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద పాలసీ? వెంటనే మనం ఏం చేయాలి? హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీకి రిఫర్ చేస్తాం. హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ ఓకే, ఎంప్లాయీ కండిషన్ బట్టి 1 hour పర్మిషన్ ఇవ్వచ్చు, ఒక రూల్ ఉంది. సో ఆ రూల్ ప్రకారం మనం ఫార్ములేట్ చేస్తాం. వెన్ దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ రూల్ ఇన్ ద హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ, వెన్ దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ ఫ్రేమింగ్ ఇన్ ద హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ, then there is no discrimination at all. Instead of that, if without a position, without a provision in the HR policy, if you deal with the two different people in the two different ways, definitely there will be a problem with that. Then second important aspect is continuous action for the benefit of all the employees. All the employees are to be, irrespective of their position, they must be treated on equal. So whether he is a manager, whether he is a supervisor, or whether he is a foreman, whether he is a worker, all the employees are to be treated on an equal basis according to their positions in the organization. According to their positions in the organization. Whenever there is a need, continuous action also should be initiated on all the employees, irrespective of their position. So then, that is the second important element. And maintain the performance needs. What is performance needs and performance standards? Performance needs are to be achieved, or performance standards are to be determined. At what level the employee has to perform? At what level the employee need to need to work do the work in his capacity. Then what is his performance? Compare the results with the standardized performance, and how best he is able to meet the standards. All these aspects are to be identified. Then last important need is that enhancing commitment and dedication of the employee. So HR policy's main objective is to promote employees or to take care of the employees, not to punish them. No employee want to punish, no employer want to punish any employee unless there is a reasonable cause on that. So enhance the commitment of the employees. How best I can provide the commitment? So how best I can improve the commitment of the employees? Then dedication of the employees. How dedicated they are to the organization. So how loyal they are. Is there any sense of belongingness to the organization? So all these aspects are to be promoted by the HR policy. అంటే మన హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ యొక్క మెయిన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని అచీవ్ చేయడానికి ఈ సబ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ అనేటివి మనం ఫ్రేమ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం. సో ఎంప్లాయీ ఎన్హాన్స్మెంట్, కమిట్మెంట్ ఎంప్లాయీ యొక్క డెడికేషన్ ఎన్హాన్స్ చేయాలి, ఎంప్లాయీ యొక్క కమిట్మెంట్ మనం ఇంప్రూవ్ చేయగలగాలి. ఆల్ ద ఎంప్లాయీస్ కి, మొత్తం అందరు ఎంప్లాయీస్ లో కూడా సెన్స్ ఆఫ్ బిలాంగింగ్నెస్, దట్ మీన్స్ ది ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఈజ్ మైన్, ఐ షుడ్ వర్క్ ఫర్ ద బెటర్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ సో దట్ ఐ కెన్ బి బెటర్. దట్ ఫిలాసఫీ ఈజ్ టు బి included or injected into the employees. So these are the various important aspects on that. So then actually one slide is also missing. So objectives of HRM. Just on the paper, I will dictate only 2-3 points, and that aspect you take care of. Objectives of HRM, HR policy. Objectives of HR policy. So the main objective of HR policy is to devote more effort and time. Devote more effort and time. Then impartial decision making. Impartial decision making. Impartial decision making. Cooperative and effective environment. Cooperative and effective environment. Fourth important point, utilization of human capital. Utilization of human capital and their potentialities. Utilization of human policies and their potentialities. Right? Okay, na? Are you able to write? So what are the various objectives of the HR policy? That is, one is to devote more effective time for the various other activities also. If a specific HR policy is there, if a pre-designed policy is there, then they can understand Or then they will be able to understand what are the important policies to be, what are the important procedures to be followed. Then they need not have any other doubts about that, what to treat a particular situation. Then they can devote on their more time on various other important activities instead of concentrating on the human beings. Then adequate and impartial decision making. All the employees are treated in a most positive way, and then the decisions taken with respect to the human beings, they are impartial. So all the workers are treated equal, and the right, when you are able to provide the right man for the right job and for right compensation, then everything will go on work easily. Then impartial decision making will be there. Then encourage effective environment for the workers. So when a worker is working for the organization, where it is our duty to provide the excellent environment for him to work. మనం మంచి ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఇవ్వకపోతే వర్కర్ ఏ రకంగా పనిచేస్తాడండి, అది కరెక్ట్ కాదు కదా. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఏరియాస్ వాట్ టు బి ఐడెంటిఫైడ్. Then, when next coming to the process of that one, utilization of human capital to the best possible extent. So if you employ a excellent employee, but if you are not able to, but if you are not able to go with that, if you are not able to take work from them in a proper way, then definitely it becomes a waste. So when you are employing right man for the right job and utilize the human capital also in a better way, these are the important aspects that you have to understand and then follow the procedure. And enable the overall development of the employees organization also. Enable the employees total organizational possibility. So make the employees understand about the total organization. Make the employees understand about the total organizational structures, organizational culture, and any employee can refer to the HR policy. And what is his leave position, when they can receive a compensation, when they can get a promotion. All these things will be clearly laid down in the HR policies. So that is, they can understand. And when they are expecting something good for them, they will work with loyalty to the organization. These are the various important aspects that you have to understand and concept, right? Then lastly, in this point, in this block, let us concentrate more on the procedure for formulating HR policy. This is the question what we have discussed also. What a question already what I have given you also. Explain the procedure for formulating the HR policy. So what is the process of formulating the HR policy? Till now, what is HR policy? What are the objectives of HR policy? What is the need of HR policy? We studied. Then we are proceeding towards the procedure for formulating the HR policy. మనం హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీని ఏ రకంగా ఫ్రేమ్ చేయాలి, మనం ఫ్రేమ్ చేద్దాం అనుకున్నాం, ఒక హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీని డిజైన్ చేయాలనుకున్నాం. సో మనకి తోచినట్టుగా మనం డిజైన్ చేస్తే అది గుడ్ హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ అవ్వదు. సో వాట్ ఆర్ ద వేరియస్ స్టెప్స్ టు బి ఫాలోడ్, ఆర్ ద ప్రొసీజర్ టు బి ఫాలోడ్, ఆర్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఫార్ములేటింగ్ ప్రొసీజర్ ఫర్ ద హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ. There must be a procedure to formulate the HR policy also. What are the steps in formulating a HR policy? This is another important essay question for you in the coming examinations also. Then first one, manager must gain complete knowledge about the organizational goals. So a manager, this is an important question. If you have any doubts, please raise the question and you can ask it and try to understand better this question.
Attribute survey means what, sir? Attribute survey means.
చెప్తానమ్మా, ఇంకా అక్కడ దాకా రాలేదు కదా.
Okay.
So procedure for formulating the HR policy. Now manager must gain complete knowledge about organizational goals. What all organizational goals he must be able to thoroughly follow. Study the existing policy. Some of the existing policies are written, some of the existing policies are unwritten. Sometimes in the organizations, all the HR policies cannot be written. Some things are orally they will be done. That is also possible. What are they? That also to be identified. Study the external forces influencing the HR policy. When you are talking about HR policies, so there are so many external forces will be there. So for deciding a HR policy, what are various labor legislations are there? So as if, as at present, what are the various labor legislations or legal procedures are there? What is the influence of other foreign countries on the existing labor forces? And what is the government restrictions on the HR, on the employees? All these aspects are also to be identified. These are external forces. మనం ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో హెచ్ఆర్ పాలసీ పెట్టేటప్పుడు దీనికి సంబంధించి గవర్నమెంట్ లెజిస్లేషన్స్ ఏమున్నాయి, గవర్నమెంట్ రూల్స్ ఏమున్నాయి, అవి కూడా మనం స్టడీ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. దెన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ పాయింట్ ఇస్ దట్ ఐడెంటిఫై ద ఏరియాస్ వేర్ న్యూ పాలసీస్ ఆర్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఫర్ ద ఎంటైర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. అన్లెస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ న్యూ ఆర్గనైజేషన్, for the entire organization, you need not formulate a HR policy again and again. So you can revise or review, but there is no need to formulate entire HR policy. Some of the policies which are already framed, for example, leave policy, promotion policy, regulation policy, they are already built in. Then they need not review again and again. So what are the new policies that are required? What that is point is to be, and get views of other managers also. So when you are a HR manager, you consult with other managers also. What are the various activities? What are the various areas to be touched for that? How the employees are feeling about the HR policy, first of all. How the employees are feeling about the present HR policy. Are there any difficulties? Are there any problems for them? Are there any difficulties in working? Are there personal growth, employee career, and all? Then that all the information you must get from the various other managers also. Then attribute survey. Actually, what is the meaning of attribute? Attribute is one which is the characteristic of that. So when you are talking about attribute survey, this one is the point where what are the various attributes basically tell us about the what are the characteristics which are influencing the HR policy. For example, what is the age limit for the retirement of the employee? That say in the government it is 60 years. That is one attribute. So survey these attributes in various organizations. How it is conducting and obtaining the views of the employees about the various HR policies. So are you satisfied with the present leave policy? Make a survey. Are you satisfied with the present compensation policy? Make a survey. Then are you satisfied with the current promotion policy? Like that, go on surveying about the various attributes which are influencing the HR policy. Then examine and create a draft policy. So briefly, the draft is to be created. Then once draft is made out, that draft will help us to improve. Then, so when once one draft is created, that is to be circulated among the various areas, various people, and then finally trial or implement it. When once you implement, the policy will come into force. So, as and when the policy is implemented, there may be some sort of resistance from the employees also. That point is also to be understood. When you are implementing the new policy, then the employees will definitely come up with the good ideas. If there is anything which is unfavorable to them, they will go with the resistance to that. So, how to make them accept? Not by force, but by means of, say, actually compromise. So, if the employees are not satisfied, then you should revise the policy. When you are implementing the policy, then definitely all these problems will come. Then, if the employees are happy with that, then it's okay. Sometimes resistance will be there, but resistance is to be treated in a proper way. So, employees' interests are to be considered, and then at the same time, organizational philosophy, organizational goals also should not be deviated. This is about the procedure for formulating the HR policy. I hope you are able to follow it, right? So now, with this, actually, we are going to end up, and that means we are going to conclude on this. In this particular block one, we already taken some of the important aspects because total 19 lessons are there. Every lesson we cannot go through entirely. Only 8 classes are provided. In this intention, I have given you elaborate discussion about the strategic HRM అని ఉండాలి కదా. Only. Block 2, planning, organization design, job analysis methods, definition of human resources planning, Process of HR. Right. So now let us go for the next important aspect in the unit one itself. That is another important aspect is the strategic HRM. Actually, what is the meaning of strategic HRM? How it will be and all. Strategic HRM is basically the pattern of planned HR developments and activities intended to enable an organization to achieve its goals. So, what is strategic HRM? How it will be useful for the development of the organization? That will be another important question in the block one, right? Then that is one. HR information system, right on? HR information system. What do you mean by HR information system? Explain the features of HR information system. Explain the features of HR information system. Human Resources Information System. What are its features? HRIS is defined as a system of assembling, organizing, processing, and recording and communicating it is communicating the information needs for the effective management of the HR resources. So HRIS is the new development in that. In the information system, there is communication technology. All the human resources information is assembled and it is organized on that data sheets and then process them according to employee wise, division wise, and all, record them in a proper way. Communicating this information needs to the effective management of the HR resources. Suppose what is HR resources, how best you can use. So management of the HR resources in a proper way. For that, we need a lot of data. So what is that entire data is recorded in the HR information system. So these are the important elements which you have to understand in the block one. So coming to the block one of this one. So roles and functions of these features and acquisitions. And then lastly, organizational design, organizational structure, features, and then procedure for formulating HR policy. These are up to this one. And along with that, HRIS, Human Resources Information System. What are the features of that? What do you mean by strategic HRM? These important aspects you go through with that. Anything from your side? With that, I can broadly say that the block one is going to be closer now. Emma, బ్లాక్ వన్ లో ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ మనం స్టడీ చేసాం. దెన్
Yes, sir.
ఇంపార్టెంట్ నేను చెప్తున్నా కదా, మొత్తం అన్ని మనం ఎట్లా కవర్ చేయడం అంటే చాలా కష్టమైన మనది. సో వీ విల్ గో బై ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ వన్. దెన్ హెచ్ఆర్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ తీసుకున్నాం, పాలసీస్ తీసుకున్నాం, స్ట్రాటజిక్ హెచ్ఆర్ఎం బ్రాడ్ గా డిఫైన్ చేసాం కదా. 1 minute. Strategic HRM. Yeah. Strategic HRM and what are the various that one question also you can note down. And what are the various types of HR strategies? What are the various types of HR strategies? What are the advantages of strategic HRM? What are the advantages of strategic HRM? That's all. What are the various advantages of strategic HRM? So with that, the block one is complete. Then now we are entering into block two. In the unit number 6, it is given as HR planning, and this is the overall outline of the block 2, unit 6. Then in that, organizational design. When we are talking about organizational design, what is already this topic is, this slide is explained yesterday itself. So organizational design is a process of shaping the various organization structures and what are the various different aspects of the work-life balance, shift patterns, all this is explained. 4 types of organization. There is functional organization structure. On this, I will briefly summarize and then I will proceed for the next important aspect. Functional organization structure basically tells us about functional organization structure basically is a organizational structure where the organization is subdivided into various parts on the basis of the function they perform. Say, for example, marketing division, finance division, HR division. On the basis of function they perform, if the organizational design is made out, then it is called as functional organization structure. Then second important element is that multi-divisional structure. So when one division is spread among the various subdivisions, on the basis of product basis. So each product will require again finance, again marketing. This is also cross divisional section also. So next one is flat structure. When you are talking about a flat organizational structure, here it is line authority, staff authority, like that it will follow. So when all the line managers are given one direction and all the staff assisting the line, if the structure is designed in that such a way, then it is called as flat structure. Then matrix structure of organization is one where all the managers at the different levels are mixed up for each product, for each division, for each specific objective. If you are matching or in the matrix structure, you know, na, mathematics matrix and ఉంటుంది కదా, rows to columns combination. In that way, if you are making the organization product wise, process wise, branch wise, division wise, again in that substructures are established, then it is called as a matrix structure. And other structures are circular, team based, network structures and all. So in this particular lesson, you have to understand about, explain the what do you mean by organizational design. What is meant by organizational design? If you are not able to write, please ask me again. What is meant by organizational design? Explain the types of organizational structures. Explain the types of organizational structures. When any question appears like that, you don't go for elaboration of all the structures in all the ways. It takes a lot of time. So instead of that one, you go by selected structures, particularly functional, flat structure, matrix structure, and divisional structure. Division wise, multi-division, divisional. Division అంటే ఏంటి? ఒక పర్టికులర్ డివిజన్, ఫైనాన్స్ డివిజన్, మార్కెటింగ్ డివిజన్, లైక్ దట్. సో మల్టీ డివిజనల్. సో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ అబౌట్ మల్టీ డివిజన్. అట్లా ఒక 4 కానీ 5 కానీ డిజైన్స్ తీసుకుని మీరు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది, రైట్? టీమ్ బేస్డ్ నెట్వర్క్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్. దెన్ ఇన్ దిస్ పర్టిక్యులర్ యూనిట్ బ్లాక్, another important area that is called as job analysis and job design. So are you able to follow the previous one? I have a small doubt here.
Yes, sir.
అమ్మా, ఇక్కడ ఆర్గనైజేషనల్ డిజైన్ గురించి చెప్పాను కదా నేను. మీరు ఫ్రీగా అడగండి అమ్మా, అర్థం కాకపోతే అడగండి, బ్లైండ్ గా వెయిట్ చేయొద్దు. మనం బ్లాక్ 1 కంప్లీట్ చేసుకున్నాము. బ్లాక్ 1 లో కొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చాను. ఇప్పుడు బ్లాక్ 2కి వచ్చాను. బ్లాక్ 2లో ఓవరాల్ డిజైన్ ఇచ్చాను ఇప్పుడు. దెన్ నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ లో దీంట్లో ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ మాత్రమే తీసుకుంటున్నాం, అన్ని ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ తీసుకోలేము. సో ఆర్గనైజేషనల్ డిజైన్ అంటే ఏంటి, వాట్ ఆర్ ద టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్, అది తీసుకోండి. తర్వాత వాట్ డూ యూ మీన్ బై జాబ్ అనాలిసిస్? వాట్ డూ యూ మీన్ బై జాబ్ అనాలిసిస్? ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద ప్రాసెస్ ఆఫ్ జాబ్ అనాలిసిస్. వాట్ డూ యూ మీన్ బై జాబ్ అనాలిసిస్? Explain the process of job analysis. Right. This slide you can take a photo or you can make a small list of that. Job analysis. Actually, what is the meaning of job analysis and how it will be? It is the process of studying and collecting information relating to relating to the operations or the responsibilities of a specific job. So here the word job does not mean or does not indicate an employment. Here the job refers to a specific activity or a specific task an employee is doing. అంటే మనం చేసేటువంటి జాబ్ ఏంటి అంటే ఆ వర్క్ ఏంటి అని అక్కడ అర్థం. ఇక్కడ మనం జాబ్ we should not take the word job as an employment. So in the employment, during the process of doing your employment work, what is the activity that you are performing? What is the process of doing? Say for example, now I am doing the job of giving a lecture. Now as a faculty member, I am doing a job of giving a lecture. That is called as job. During this job, what are the various points are to be considered? How the lesson is to be explained? What are the activities are to be performed in this? So what are the important points to be shared? All these analysis is to be done by me. and how far a student will be able to understand these aspects. All this process it is to be covered on this. So like that, job analysis is the process of studying and collecting information related to what is related to what? Related to the operations and responsibilities of a specific job. So, for example, a welding machine work is there. So during that, what are the operations he has to carry out? He has to carry out welding operation, and his responsibility is to see that the both the ends of the material is jointed in a proper way. That is the responsibility that welding should be done in a perfect way. That's all. In the same thing, in the same way, a doctor, when the doctor is performing a specific activity or an operation, medical operation, then he has to do his job perfectly. How the operation is to be carried out, what are the pre-operation activities he has to carry out, what are the during operation, what are the care and intensity he has to follow, and what are the post-operation care he has to take for a patient. All these activities have to be analyzed. All these operations have to be analyzed. What is the responsibility also? He should see that the patient is clearly get revealed from his problem or pain. So this is job analysis aspect. Job description is another important element. A job description is one which is organized a factual statement of facts of duties and responsibilities of the job. Here, what are the activities that are to be performed that we don't consider? Job description is basically talks about the what are the contents of the work, what are the facts of that, what are the duties of the person who is carrying out. So then, what are the responsibility of the person doing the particular activity? Particular job. These are a written statement about that one that is called as a job description. Actually, in simple language, we can say contents of the job description are type చేయలేదు. Contents of the job description are there are so many contents of job description is job identification. కొట్టలేము మనకు type సరిపోదు. Job identification. So during the job description process, first important element is that job identification. What job you are going to analyze? That is one. Second one, job summary. So while describing a particular job, giving a written statement about the job, you should be able to summarize what all the duties to be performed, what all the activities to be performed, what is the performance appraisal for that particular job. So when I can say that job is completed. So who are the authorities related to the job? And all these aspects are to be identified. Then what are the materials to be used for that particular job? What are the machines, tools, equipments? What working conditions are needed for the job? Then supervisor revision is required. What are the dangers or hazards that are there? That is, all these items are to be listed in the job description process. What all the problems that may be in carrying out the job is also should be written in the job description process. So when we are identifying a job, particular activity, particular work, I repeat, job does not mean employment. The work what an employee is doing in the organization. He is doing in the organization. So identify the job which you are studying, summarize the job, what are the ending point and starting point and ending point of the job, duties, what are the responsibilities, what are the authorities, and what materials you are using while carrying out the job, what are the machines you are using, what are the machines you are using. Then finally, internet is not stable and all. So what are the working conditions required for that particular job? What are supervision requirement and what are the problems in that? These are the various aspects that is to be covered in the case of job description. So job description normally will be a short answer question, but whereas job analysis will be normally an essay question for that. So once job job description is complete, then we will go by job analysis. Then in that, yes, right. In the process of this one, in the process of analyzing the job, just go through the steps once. In the process of job analysis, first of all, collect the information about the job. Collect the organization information. So while carrying out the job analysis, so we should go for the first collection of organization information. For which organization we are going to analyze. So what is the organizational nature? What is the organizational culture? What is the organizational value system? And all these aspects are to be collected. Then select the job analysis program. Organize the job analysis program. What is the meaning of analyzing organizational job analysis program? The organization must appoint an in charge for the program and assign his responsibilities. So, while carrying out a job analysis program, first the organization, that is top level management, must appoint one person to review the job analysis program by a particular expert. One expert is to be appointed for the purpose of carrying out the job analysis. Then third one, then select representative jobs for the analysis. All the jobs cannot be analyzed. All the jobs cannot be analyzed. In a particular organization, thousands of jobs will be carried out on every day. So what are the crucial jobs? What is important jobs? What is the most representative sample of the job that is to be understood? Even priorities of various jobs which need to be analyzed are also to be determined. For example, in a bank, what is the crucial activity where the job analysis is to be carried out? That is cash section. Further means cash division. So how the cashier is working? What are the difficulties for him? What are the benefits for him? What is the how far he is able to perform better? So, Dalbhai, so select the representative job. So that is like that. So in a bank, let us take an example of that cash section. Then one loans. Like that, independent jobs is to be analyzed. So then that is another important area. Then collect information about the job. So collect the entire information related to the job. How the job is started, when the job is complete, all the steps are to be analyzed. Preparation of job description, already we have done with that. So what is the various important aspects? How the job is carried out? That job description is to be. Develop job specifications. This point we have not covered. What is the job specification? Job specification is one. To that extent, what are the specify the personal attributes or the knowledge or the skill that is required? Job specification means what is required, what are the skills required, what are the attributes required, what is the requirement, how the qualities are required, what are the abilities that are required for a person to do the job. సో మనం చూస్తుంటాం మిలిటరీలో జాబ్స్ కైనా పోలీస్ ఫోర్స్ లో జాబ్స్ కైనా వాళ్ళు హైట్ మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు, బాడీ స్ట్రక్చర్ మెన్షన్ చేస్తారు. అది రిక్వైర్మెంట్, అదొక అట్రిబ్యూట్, అది జాబ్ స్పెసిఫికేషన్ పార్ట్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అలాగే ఒక అసిస్టెంట్ ప్రొఫెసర్కి ఉంది, యూనివర్సిటీలో ఒక అసిస్టెంట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ జాబ్ రావాలంటే పిహెచ్డి కంపల్సరీ, దట్ ఈస్ ఎ జాబ్ స్పెసిఫికేషన్. సో అలాగే ఇక్కడ కంప్యూటర్ ఆపరేటర్, వాడి కంప్యూటర్ నాలెడ్జ్ తెలిసి ఉండాలి, హీ మస్ట్ బి ఎ స్కిల్డ్ కంప్యూటర్ ఆపరేటర్. దీస్ ఆర్ కన్సిడర్డ్ యాజ్ ఎ జాబ్ స్పెసిఫికేషన్. What are the various qualities, skills, attitudes, abilities that are required to perform a job? That is called as a job specification. Then develop employee specifications also. When once employee specifications are designed, then how this job can be developed? That is employee specifications. So then developing employee specifications are also required. Employee specifications basically convert the job abilities of the person into what is required for performing the job. And when an employee, how better he can perform the job. Average rated employee, how he can carry out the job. These are the entire the process of job analysis. Actually, job analysis is not so easy to go on, but it is a very difficult, critical activities are there. Sometimes it is very difficult to measure the requirements of the job analysis also. So there's a job, giving a job specifications itself very difficult. So the various steps are there in that job, step 5 and step 6, and all they are very prolonged time will be there. Job analysis is the critical activity. But once the job analysis is clearly stated, then entire activity will go on in a perfect way. These are the various important process. So already, as I already told you, define job analysis, define job analysis, explain the process of job analysis. That is very, very important essay question for you. Any doubts? Job description, job specification. Differentiate between job analysis, job specification, and job description. Differentiate between job analysis, job specification, and job description. Right. So, explain the various methods of job analysis. Explain the various methods of job analysis. First one, yeah. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
No. First one is explain the various methods of job analysis. First one, observation method. So actually, this is a very what to say unsound or very traditional method, or sometimes what you observe that you feel that it is correct. So in this process of that one, huh? Right. So in the observation system, it is very crude method. Just the observer will come and he will try to analyze what the worker is doing, and on the basis of that, he will try to identify the various steps in the doing the process. So the supervisor basically will sit with the employee, and then he will sit with the employee, and he'll observe what are the various activities that are performed while carrying out the job. So this is observation method. So while doing this observation method, there are so many difficulties are there in this. So the most important one is that while observing, the supervisor may or may not be able to catch the employee skill. So on a specific day, the employee also may not be able to perform the job better. There are so many other activities also there. That is short job cycle, but this method is very suitable for the activity. This method is very suitable for the jobs where there is a shortest duration. So if the job is for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then the job is complete. In that way, we need not go for elaborate procedures. You can observe and identify how the person is doing, what are the characteristics of that, and so on and so forth. That is first one. Second one is the interview method. In the case of interview method, the job analyst collect the job related information through the personal interview. So the employee is interviewed by the experts, and then the job information is collected by collecting in two types of interviews, with the job holder and also doing the same job, then with the supervisor having through the knowledge about the job. In the case of interview, two types of interviews are collected about the job. So one interview is with the employee who is performing that particular job. అంటే ఎవరైతే జాబ్ చేస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళని మనం ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేస్తాం. ఈ జాబ్ లో మీకు ఏం డిఫికల్టీస్ ఉన్నాయి, ఈ జాబ్ లో మీరు ఏ రకమైనటువంటి ఈజీనెస్ ఫీల్ అవుతున్నారు, అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్స్ ఆర్ నీడెడ్, what are the other benefits that what are the other activities which makes the job easier, like that, which task is very critical for you, and like that we will interview the person who is doing this particular job. Then the second important is that we will interview the supervisor. We will interview the supervisor who is supervising this particular job. So there is two types of interviews to be conducted, and on the basis of that, we will go for the job analysis. Then third one is that questionnaire, or it is also called as survey method. Questionnaire or survey method. In the case of survey method or the questionnaire, the method of the job related data is obtained by giving a questionnaire to the employee. So we will issue a questionnaire already. I hope you might be knowing about a questionnaire. Questionnaire is a set of various questions in a sequential order, and they are very much structured to get one specific objective of information. And మనం ఒక పర్టికులర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గ్యాదర్ చేయాలంటే ఒక స్ట్రక్చర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్ చేసి వాటిని మనం టైప్డ్ ఫామ్ లో కానీ వేరే గూగుల్ షీట్ ఫామ్ లో కానీ మనం ఎంప్లాయీస్ కి సర్క్యులేట్ చేస్తాం. సో ఈ క్వశ్చనీర్ లో ఉండేటువంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్ని కూడా ఒకదానికొకటి లింకప్ అయి ఉంటాయి. వాటి ద్వారా మనం ఆ యొక్క ఏదైతే ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఉందో ఆ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మనం గ్యాదర్ చేయడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. దట్ ఈస్ బేసికలీ సెట్ టు బి ఏ క్వశ్చనీర్. దిస్ ఈస్ బేసికలీ అండర్ ద సర్వే మెథడ్. సో ఏ పర్టికులర్ క్వశ్చనీర్ issued to the employee in the various dimensions, the frequency of the job, significance, difficulties, relationship with the overall performance of the job, like that, different sets of questions will be there. And we will collect the information from the employees by issuing a questionnaire. So then that information will be analyzed through the data sheets. So questionnaires are basically 2-3 functional job analysis, positional job analysis information format. Different formats are there. This method of questionnaire provides a comprehensive information about the job and enables to cover large number of job holders. అంటే మనం ఒక్కొక్కరిని ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేయలేం. ఒక్కొక్క పర్సన్ ఎంప్లాయ్ వర్క్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళు మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేయడం కూడా కష్టం. Say in a small organization, there will be nearly 10 to 15 employees, but in the large organization, hundreds of people will be working. So then individually you cannot ask question, individually you cannot observe them also. During this process, when you are issuing a questionnaire, that questionnaire is filled by most of them actually, and by observing the questionnaire, by observing the answers, whatever they have given, then on the basis of that, you can analyze the job process. And then checklist. Checklist is also collection of information. Related data only will be collected, and in that only yes or no answers will be there in that. So checklist is prepared on the basis of information obtained from the different sources, such as supervisors, subordinates, industrial people, and then so when all this information is structured in such a way that the person to whom this checklist is given, he has to answer either by yes or no. That's all. Like a questionnaire method, this is also suitable only for the large organization. మన చెక్ లిస్ట్ కి క్వశ్చనీర్ కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటండి? క్వశ్చనీర్ లో మన క్వశ్చన్ కి వాళ్ళు ఆన్సర్ చేయడానికి వేరే వేరే ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి. మోర్ దాన్ 2-3 సమ్ టైమ్స్ రిటర్న్ ఆన్సర్స్ కూడా ఇవ్వచ్చు. కానీ చెక్ లిస్ట్ లో అది కాదు. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో ఆన్సర్స్ ఓన్లీ విల్ బి గివెన్ టు. దెన్ లాగ్ రికార్డ్స్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఎలిమెంట్ లాగ్ రికార్డ్. సో వెన్ ఎవర్ ఎ పర్సన్ is carrying out a particular job, we will collect the data from diary from them. We will collect his job diary. And during the crucial jobs, like during the crucial jobs, this diary will help us to record each and every transaction. Say for example, in the in the election moment, polling officers will record each and every activity that is carried on hourly basis data. So at what time, how many votes are polled, like that log records are there, the diary, polling officers diary. Like that in the employment in the various industries also, supervisors will record that at a point of time, how much material is used, how many units are turned out. So if a power failure is there, how much power failure is there, how much time the power is failure, like that each element is recorded in the log records. So by using these log records also, you can analyze the job. Then critical incidents method is another one. So instead of observing each and every activity, we will go by critical incidents only. While doing the job, sometimes we observe only the critical aspects. So what is important element? While doing a particular job, in the entire process, we will observe certain moments of doing that, certain moments only. That observing a specific incident while performing a job, that is called as a critical incidents method. అంటే మనం మొత్తం జాబ్ అంతా ఐడెంటిఫై చేయకుండా మనం జాబ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి ఏదైతే ఉందో దాంట్లో ఇన్సిడెంట్, ఒక పర్టికులర్ ఇన్సిడెంట్ మాత్రమే మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తుంటాం. ఆ పర్టికులర్ యాక్టివిటీ క్యారీ అవుట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఎంప్లాయీ ఏ రకంగా ఉన్నాడు, ఆ రకంగా మనం అనలైజ్ చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ as క్రిటికల్ ఇన్సిడెంట్స్ మెథడ్. Then technical conferences are there. During this technical conference is arranged for the supervisors possessing considerable knowledge about that one and discuss about the various aspects of the job. This method consumes less time but suffers with the drawback that it lacks accuracy and so on. Conferences will build up, and by using the conferences, all the various job analysis will carry out. These are the various important methods what is observed to analyze the job. Out of this, all these methods, most popular methods are observation method. Observation method is suitable for the small jobs or short duration jobs, and the job is not so critical. Job is not so critical. It is just like manual jobs, actually speaking. An interview method where the employees are very less in number, the analyst can directly. Am I audible to you? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ఓకే రైట్. మీకు వినపడకపోతే ఒకసారి చెప్పండి అమ్మా. ఇంటర్నెట్ అన్స్టేబుల్ అంటుంది. ఒకసారి మీకు వినపడకపోతే మాత్రం చెప్పండి. నెక్స్ట్,
Yes, sir. Sorry.
interview methods are suitable when the employees are less in number. Questionnaires are well suited job analysis method. In the large organization, mostly they will follow questionnaire method, and checklist methods are jobs where the job requires a lot of duration. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనకి అంటే ఇది కరెక్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అవునా కాదో నాకు తెలియదు, కానీ ఇప్పుడు పైలట్స్ ఉంటారు. పైలట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిన దగ్గర నుంచి జర్నీ ఎండ్ చేసేదాకా వాళ్ళు లాగ్ రికార్డ్ రాస్తారు. సో డైరీ ఉంటుంది. సో ఆ రకంగానే వేరియస్ ఇన్సిడెంట్స్ అన్ని వాళ్ళు రికార్డ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు, వెదర్ ఇట్ మాన్యువల్ ఆర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజింగ్ బై వేరియస్ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ గ్యాడ్జెట్స్. సో దట్ ఈస్ వన్. Critical incidents method is one which is suitable only when the job is basically requires certain incidents. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఒక జాబ్ లో ఒక స్టేజ్ దాటితే జాబ్ సక్సెస్ అవుతుంది, ఒక స్టేజ్ దాటితే వర్క్ కంప్లీట్ అయినట్టే. అట్లా కొన్ని ఇన్సిడెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఇన్సిడెంట్స్ మెథడ్, దీస్ ఆర్ ద వేరియస్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ దట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు క్యారీ అవుట్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్, దట్స్ వై వీ హ్యావ్ డిఫైన్డ్. సో అనదర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్, వాట్ ఈస్ హెచ్ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్? Right on. What do you mean by HR planning? Explain the factors influencing HR planning. What do you mean by HR planning? Explain the factors influencing HR planning. Right? ఇప్పుడు మనం జాబ్ అనాలిసిస్ అయింది, జాబ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్, జాబ్ డిజైన్, ఆర్గనైజేషన్ డిజైన్, ఇవన్నీ మనం బ్లాక్ 2లో డిస్కస్ చేసినటువంటి ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్. మనం ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ తీసుకోబోయేది హెచ్ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్ గురించి. హెచ్ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్ లో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఏంటంటే ప్రాసెస్. వాట్ ఈస్ హెచ్ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సింగ్ హెచ్ఆర్ ప్లానింగ్? Actually, HR planning is also known as manpower planning. HR planning is also known as manpower planning. What are the features of HR planning? What are the factors influencing HR planning? Process of HR planning. These three aspects. First is define HR planning. What are the factors influencing HR planning? Follow that. So actually, what is the meaning of HR planning? So in this process of striking a balance between manpower resources, sorry, this is required only. So it is said to be the process of striking a balance between manpower resources need and how they are required and acquired in an organization? Right. So this is a process of identifying what are the manpower resources required in a particular organization. Then what is how it will be useful for that, and what are the various levels of organization, levels of manpower required. So what is existing manpower in the organization? What is required in the organization? What is the gap between existing and required? How to fill up this gap? This is entirely the broad spectrum area of the HR planning area. So in the HR planning process, we will measure or we will study what are the HR resources that are available right now. అంటే మన ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో ఎంతమంది ఎంప్లాయీస్ మనకు కావాల్సినటువంటి స్టేబుల్ గా ఉన్నారు. సో హౌ మచ్ మ్యాన్ పవర్ ఇస్ అడిషనల్లీ రిక్వైర్డ్ అండ్ హౌ టు అక్వైర్ దెమ్. What is the process of acquiring them? What are the skills that are required for them? How better I can go with that? All these aspects put together, that is comes under the manpower planning or HR planning process. So manpower planning is the process of determining the manpower requirements and the means for meeting these requirements in order to carry out the integrated plans of the organization. So I repeat, just listen, it is helpless condition. Manpower planning is the process of determining. HR planning is also known as manpower planning. Both are same. Don't worry about what is HR planning, what is manpower planning. So in simple words, manpower planning is the balance between what is there, what is required, how to get it. So it is the process of determining the manpower requirements. And what are the Amma cheppandi. Anybody?
వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్.
ఏంటండి?
మీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్. వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే 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 నెట్ స్లో ఉందమ్మా చెప్తున్నాను కదా, అందుకని రైట్. ఇప్పుడు బాగానే ఉందా?
ఓకే సార్.
Process of striking the balance between the process of striking a balance between the manpower requirements and the resources required. Then, so identifying the gap between present manpower and what are the required manpower. So that is all. So what is the objectives of manpower planning? This is also another short question. ఎక్కడ ఉన్నామండి? ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాం కదా, రైట్. డెఫినేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ ఆఫ్ ప్లానింగ్ ఇక్కడ ఈ స్లైడ్ లో ఉన్నాం. యా రైట్. ఇక్కడ నెక్స్ట్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్, నెక్స్ట్ ప్రాసెస్, ఇది కంప్లీట్ చేసేద్దాం. సో ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాన్ పవర్ ప్లానింగ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో వన్ షార్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ you may be required to answer for that. Forecast the future manpower requirements. So manpower planning basically talks about what is the future requirements of the manpower. Second, ensure optimal utilization of the manpower. So how to utilize this one, and provide regulatory measures to the available adequate manpower. So manpower planning basically regulation aspect also will be taken care of. Then anticipate the impact of technology over the manpower requirement. In the future manpower technology, in the future technology upgradation, how the manpower will get affected. ఇప్పుడు మనం చూస్తున్నాం అన్ని కూడా ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ బేసిస్. సో హ్యూమన్ ఇంటర్వెన్షన్ తక్కువైపోతుంది. అలాంటప్పుడు మనం ఇవాళ ఎంప్లాయీస్ అందరూ రిక్రూట్ చేసాం, రేపు పొద్దున టెర్మినేట్ చేయడం కుదరదు. సో when an employee is recruited, normally he will not be terminated, or he cannot be terminated also sometimes. So how this impact of technology is going on, and what is the impact of technology over the manpower. So that is also to be studied. So to guide the productive bargaining power also for the employee. Like the specific objectives are there. Then coming to the factors influencing the factors in another important factors influencing the human resources planning aspect. One is corporate planning and the growth cycle. Factors influence, yes, right. What is the corporate level planning and what is the growth cycle in a particular organization? So what is your planning for the future? Corporate plan, that means overall organizational plan for the entire company, not for the divisional level. And what is the growth level of the company? Whether you can expand the company beyond a particular level, or you are going to stick to the present size of the organization only. If you are going to expand the organization in the near future, then definitely you can go for the higher level manpower planning and recruit more number of employees and identify them. Then otherwise, you can restrict the process of recruitment also. Then what is the growth cycle? At what stage your industry is there? Industry growth cycle అని ఒకటి ఉంది. So whether the industry is in growth stage, expansion stage, or otherwise it is diminishing stage. So if the industry is, if the company is facing a problem of various other aspects, then don't go by the higher level recruitment process. So like that, what are the factors that is? What is the stage of the company? What is the stage of the organization also? That is the guide. Then second is that outsourcing process. What is outsourcing? What is the possibility of subcontracting? What is the possibility of ancillation? What is the possibility of outsourcing a particular activity? So now almost all the activities in every organization, they are getting outsourced. Outsourcing means getting the job done by a separate organization, separate organizations. So they will come, do their work, and then go off. That's all. That is called outsourcing. So a specific job is given to another organization, and that organization will help will provide the required services to the organization. Most of the securities agencies, so they are security guards. That is outsourcing only. No organization will employ his own security guards. So at the same time, that is the cleaning aspect. That is also outsourcing. So in such a way, is a specific division or a specific work that is outsourced to the other reason. If it is possible, outsourcing of the job, then try to identify what are the various sources for that. That is also affect the manpower requirement. And environmental uncertainties will be there. Economic, political, social changes that affects the organization. Manpower planners deal with the uncertainties by careful understanding of this process. So various environmental uncertainties will be there. That is social instability, economic instability, so political instability. So if the economic instability, if the demand for the product is more volatile or changing nature, then in such a case, if the demand comes down, you cannot produce more. At the same time, your manpower will be idle. So that aspects also to be considered. అంటే మీరు ఎంతవరకు ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ని మీరు గ్రోత్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ లో తీసుకెళ్ళగలుగుతున్నారు అనేది కూడా ఇక్కడ చూసుకోవాలి. అండ్ నేచర్ ఆఫ్ ద జాబ్ బీయింగ్ ఫిల్డ్. Manpower planners must consider the nature of filling the job of the organization also. Is it employable by the shop floor employee? Is the shop floor worker? Or a lot of resources is required for hiring the managerial person? So what are the resources that are required? If you want to appoint a chartered accountant, then it requires a lot of exercise to be done. If you want to appoint a vice president in a company, then you have to do a lot of analysis for that. Whereas if you want to if you want to give an appointment to the shop floor worker, that's all. Just easy way you can fill up the job. But what is the criticality of the job is also to be considered. Very, very important. What is the forecasting needs about the particular job, type of information, and these aspects have to be covered in this. Right? What are the next this will complete process of human resources planning. So HR planning process, what is the process? First, as of now, what we are dealing with the same process will apply here also. First one is organizational analysis. Analyze the organizational goals. What the organization is going to become. Not today, but in future. Not tomorrow, but in future, what the organization is going to become. So that is one. Second one is that analyze the objectives of the manpower planning. These are nothing but the objectives of what are the influencing factors on that. What will be the influencing factor? What is the objective of manpower planning? With what objective you are going for? Are you want to fill up the vacancies in the organization? Or just you want to analyze how much manpower is there with you? Or just you want to know what is the requirement of the manpower in future? Like that, you should analyze the objective of that. So forecasting the demand for the manpower. Then another important third step is that estimate the demand for that. In the next year, how many technical experts are needed in my organization? In the next forthcoming season, how much of production engineers are needed for my organization? Like that, estimate the demand. Then forecast the supply of the manpower also. So nowadays facing a lot of shortage of chartered accountants actually. The required number of chartered accountants are not there in India. And in the very recent newspaper, there is no adequate number of doctors also in. So that is supply of manpower is also a critical factor. So chartered accountants, doctors, they are very much in short supply. So whether we can get the required manpower or not, that is also to be analyzed. And then matching the demand with the supply. If you want to fill up a vacancy which is in a very higher position, say vice president or president or executive level, then you should start the manpower planning at the very beginning. It takes a time. So match the demand for the jobs and match the supply of the jobs. Both are should be matched. And next one is review and monitor the process of the HR aspect. These are the various important stages in that. Right? So this is another important area what you have to understand. So in this class, actually, we have covered a lot of syllabus also. Then organizational design, job analysis, job design, job analysis, process of job analysis, then methods of job analysis, HR planning policy, HR planning factors, process of HR planning. These are one. HR information system, already that I told you. What are the features of HR information system? Strategic HRM. So strategic HRM, types of strategic HRM. Why I am not giving elaborate discussion is that as per the syllabus, it is the make a brief understanding about the various aspects and then go by the elaborate understanding about the some of the basic aspects. This question is also important. HR information system. What are the features of HRIS? Okay. Thank you. Only 3 students. Okay, Namma, shall we close the class? Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Next Saturday, we will meet again.
Sure,
Amma,
sir. Okay,
we will
sir.
meet again on the next Saturday.
Yes.
Bye.
Sir.